Right now, an invisible cosmic shadow is growing over our planet, swallowing satellites, blinding astronauts, and cracking Earth's magnetic shield. At this exact second, deep beneath our feet, thousands of kilometers down in the outer core, the giant liquid iron engine that protects all life is starting to fail. This magnetic shield is our only line of defense against lethal solar radiation that would otherwise strip away our atmosphere and sterilize the surface. And geophysicists have just confirmed something terrifying. This protective bubble is developing massive expanding dead zones where magnetism completely breaks down. Welcome to the world's most dangerous planetary mystery, the magnetic dead zones of Earth. Regions where the laws of physics fail and science is struggling to explain why. Our journey begins off the coast of South America, stretching across the ocean towards southern Africa. The South Atlantic Anomaly, a massive dent in our cosmic armor. Scientists officially call this phenomenon the Bermuda Triangle of space because of the catastrophic electrical glitches that happen every time a spacecraft orbits above it. Here, Earth's magnetic defense drops by over 50%, creating a massive gaping hole that leaves the planet entirely exposed. When astronauts on the International Space Station cross the South Atlantic Anomaly, they report seeing blinding white flashes of light, even with their eyes completely closed. These terrifying bursts occur because raw cosmic rays slam straight into the human optic nerve, completely unblocked by our weakened shield and causing microscopic cellular damage. Satellites traversing this exact region suffer extreme electrical shorts, random computer reboots, and permanent memory corruption from incoming solar protons. Even the Hubble Space Telescope is forced to completely shut down its multi-billion-dollar instruments every time it flies through this dead zone. Space agencies literally put satellite systems into emergency sleep mode just to survive those 15 terrifying minutes inside the expanding anomaly. What makes the South Atlantic Anomaly so dangerous is that it is not static. It is actively expanding westward and splitting into two separate dead zones. While the global magnetic shield has lost 9% of its strength over 2 centuries, inside this specific anomaly, the collapse is happening at terrifying speed. Seismologists probing the deep core discovered a continent-sized mountain of dense rock sitting right above the core beneath Africa. The African Blobs. Known formerly as large, low-velocity provinces, these subterranean monoliths disrupt the vital flow of liquid iron, choking our magnetic field at its very source. Multiple geophysicists urgently warn that this rapid magnetic collapse is the definitive opening sign of a total geomagnetic pole flip. During a catastrophic geomagnetic pole reversal, Earth's magnetic shield shatters, breaking into dozens of weak, chaotic mini-poles scattered unpredictably across the globe. If a total pole flip strikes today, global power grids will burn, global communication networks will die, and solar radiation on the surface will skyrocket. Moving from the dark ocean abyss to the frozen taiga of East Siberia, we arrive at our next destination, the Siberian Magnetic Anomaly. Unlike the South Atlantic, where the field is abnormally weak, here in the frozen Siberian interior, the magnetic field is behaving with violent intensity. Compass needles in this vast wilderness fluctuate wildly without warning, spinning in rapid, endless circles and pointing toward random subterranean structures. Local nomadic herdsmen and jet pilots report constant unexplained navigation blackouts, with modern GPS receivers completely losing satellite tracking for hours. Geologists investigating the Siberian interior discovered vast underground iron fields and ancient volcanic rock structures known scientifically as the Siberian Traps. 250 million years ago, the Siberian traps erupted violently in the largest volcanic catastrophe in Earth's history, flooding the continent with magnetized basalt. These ancient volcanic basalt beds retain powerful magnetic signatures that directly fight Earth's present field lines, creating massive subterranean magnetic whirlpools. Aircraft attempting airborne magnetic mapping over the deep Siberian interior experience massive instrument distortion and terrifying signal flatlining mid-flight. In deep, isolated Siberian valleys, radio communications suddenly die, drone stabilizers fail instantly, and ground sensors record unexplainable voltage surges. Even local wildlife gets hopelessly trapped. Migratory birds using internal magnetic navigation become totally disoriented, flying in desperate circles above these dead zones. Next, we travel to the isolated red desert of the vast Australian outback, where scientists mapped an ancient geological structure, the Australian Craton. Deep beneath the sun-baked outback lie rocks retaining intense magnetic fields, locked permanently into place over 3 billion years ago during Earth's primordial era. These ancient magnetized crustal blocks create localized, hyper-intense magnetic hotspots that aggressively twist and distort the surrounding continental field lines. Mining crews drilling deep core samples consistently report that their survey instruments jump violently into the red zone whenever they hit these ancient. Researchers remain completely baffled by how these ancient Australian crustal fields survived billions of years of mantle heat without losing their intense original magnetization. These bizarre outback anomalies act like giant permanent magnets frozen directly into the planet's skin, knotting local field lines into chaotic, invisible shape. Survey planes flying low over these formations record sudden, massive magnetometer spikes that closely mimic the devastating radiation of a direct solar storm impact. Leaving the desert for the open ocean, off the eastern coast of Japan lies an infamous stretch of dark water known as the Dragon's Triangle. For centuries, experienced navigators crossing the Dragon's Triangle recorded sudden compass deadlocks, equipment blackouts, and unexplainable oceanic disturbances. Oceanographic teams mapping the sea floor discovered active underwater volcanoes and massive tectonic fault trenches firing off micromagnetic bursts from beneath the seabed. These highly active deep-sea volcanic vents blast superheated ionized mineral columns upward, briefly tearing apart the local magnetic field right at the ocean's waterline. Even modern naval warships crossing key trench points inside this zone log abrupt, terrifying magnetic drops on their primary navigation displays. To truly understand why these dead zones exist, we must examine Earth's inner core, which operates exactly like a chaotic, turbulent, liquid ion battery. Massive convection currents in the outer core push molten iron and nickel upward, driving the vital Geodynamo process that powers our entire planetary shield. However, this liquid metal flow is rarely smooth. It constantly creates massive subterranean whirlpools and reverse polarity flux loops deep underground near the mantle boundary. When a reverse flux patch forms, it creates a localized, opposing magnetic field that directly cancels out Earth's main protective shield from the inside out. This exact subterranean cancellation process is destroying the shield beneath the South Atlantic today, causing the rapidly expanding magnetic dead zone we easily observe from outer space. As these terrifying reverse flux patches expand, they steadily degrade the global magnetic dipole, dragging our entire planet toward a full, catastrophic magnetic inversion. The danger of an expanding magnetic dead zone is not strictly confined to satellites in high orbit. The invisible threat on the ground is far worse for human civilization. If a massive coronal mass ejection from the Sun strikes Earth directly over a weak magnetic dead zone, the ground induction currents will be catastrophic. High-voltage electrical transformers across whole continents will rapidly overload, exploding and causing year-long power blackouts, triggering total infrastructure collapse. Undersea fiber-optic internet cables carrying 90% of global communications will suffer massive, irreversible hardware burnout, plunging the world into a digital dark age. Commercial aviation routes over these anomalies would face immediate emergency grounding to desperately protect pilots and flight computers from lethal doses of ionizing radiation. In the wild, migratory marine species relying entirely on biological magnetoreception, including sea turtles and deep-sea whales, will suffer catastrophic navigational failure. Marine biologists have already accurately traced dozens of unexplained mass whale strandings directly to sudden, severe geomagnetic field fluctuations along previously safe coastlines. To urgently track these dying field zones in real time, space agencies globally launched the ESA Swarm mission, a high-tech constellation of hypersensitive magnetic mapping satellites. The satellites in the Swarm mission precisely measure the exact speed, depth, and collapse rate of dangerous magnetic field anomalies thousands of kilometers below Earth's crust. Their combined data recently confirmed a shocking reality. Earth's magnetic North Pole is sprinting rapidly away from Canada towards Siberia at an unprecedented 50 kilometers per year. This terrifyingly rapid polar drift definitively proves that violent, unpredictable shifts are accelerating deep inside Earth's liquid metal core at this very moment. Are these rapidly expanding dead zones merely a temporary planetary shift, or are we standing right at the edge of a full geomagnetic reversal? Geological records conclusively prove that Earth's magnetic field has flipped hundreds of times, with the absolute last major inversion occurring exactly 780,000 years ago. With magnetic pole reversals historically happening every 250,000 years on average, our planet is deeply, dangerously overdue for its next catastrophic geomagnetic flip. As our modern human civilization becomes completely reliant on fragile digital technology, our sheer vulnerability to these invisible magnetic dead zones grows exponentially higher every single day. The absolute truth is that the shield beneath our feet is cracking, magnetism is vanishing entirely, and these silent, invisible dead zones are expanding faster than ever recorded in history. This is only part one of our planetary exploration, because what scientists just detected beneath the Antarctic ice cap is far more dangerous.